Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Healing for Your Soul Ministries and Get Your Life Back, Inspirational Life Coaching. And I am your host, Cheryl White Howard. And, I wear many hats. I don't want to go through all of them, but I just thank God for being a vessel and being an instrument to help serve his people. And I'm excited today because first of all, we're going to talk about something that's very, very needed in the body of Christ. And I thank God that today we have expanded ministry to incorporate counseling and therapy and social work, because the church has always been those things before there was a formal institution of, those type of places that people can go to get help. So today I have with me on Tea with Jesus, my guest, Apostle D.L. Wilson. I'm so glad you are here.
Amen.
So Apostle D.L. Wilson, Dr. Wilson, has a doctorate of ministry with a focus in pastoral counseling. And that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to have him on this broadcast, because I'm a pastoral counselor as well. He is the pastor of Kingdom Harvest International in Norfolk, Virginia, along with his wife, co-pastor, Cynthia Wilson, who is also, I can tell by her profile and the things I read about her that she's dynamic in God. With the gift of prophecy. And so I'm so happy. Maybe one day I can have her on here as well. Apostle, we are living in a time when mental health is like an epidemic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like an epidemic. And I thank God that the church is responding as well, because I know it's important for us. We bring a holistic approach, the spiritual, the mental, the physical wellness that we need, because God created us with the mind, spirit, body, and soul. And so we don't address all the issues, especially the spiritual part of us, then we still walking around not being whole.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And in order for us to get that, those are the elements that needs to be addressed these days, because a lot of people dress up the outside,
right?
And
right.
The inside is tore up.
Yes.
And unless we can get the inside straight,
that's right.
We're gonna continue to be able to deal with all of these different type of problems. And what we see in the church today, it is an extension of what people is dealing with internally.
Exactly.
And those are the issues that not being addressed. It's all about money and how you get a house, boat, car, and all these other things, without dealing with the internal perspective of an individual life, because it is the spirit and the holisticness of the individual that will help them to be better. And the more they get healed internally, the better they'll be, and be able to be a more productive citizen, a better productive Christian,
yes,
everything. And just be better productive, period.
Exactly. And I often tell a lot of people that I work with that a lot of times, or most of the times, our activities and our behaviors are symptoms of whether of our trauma or things that we haven't dealt with, like you mentioned, on the inside. Because like you said, there's a lot of us, we preach and talk about a lot of other external things, but we don't deal with the internal man, like what's going on the inside. And so I know you have witnessed, because there's a lot of leaders that are operating from a hurt place, like a place of pain, and they come across the pulpit or places angry and cracking the whip. And a lot of times that's just a reflection, like as you said, of something that's going on the inside, whether it's unforgiveness, unhealed places, and they negatively infect people that they're supposed to be pouring out to. They're actually putting more trauma on top of other people's trauma.
Yeah, and what happens is that you end up preaching out of your own hurt.
Yes.
Instead of you getting healed, you want to smooth it over, push it to the corner, or whatever. And what happens is, instead of you ministering to people, you become bashing them.
Yes.
And so you whipping people that you ought to be ministering to, and it is an own reflection of what has happened to you, that you never got healed from.
Exactly.
And so and none of us are exempt from experiencing brokenness, especially when you get to leadership,
That's right.
you're more vulnerable to
Right.
being hurt.
That's a good point.
And
yes.
so in essence, you become the wounded healer.
yes.
You're trying to help folks to get healed, and you wounded yourself.
Exactly.
And at some point in time, you got to get that straight, or you're not going to be as effective as you want to be.
That's right.
And I can tell you, myself, I've experienced it because I went through that phase when things were going, and I became bitter,
right,
angry, and I'm preaching, and I'm starting off. I'm giving a nice text, and then I go to fussing.
Come on,
the rest
yes,
of the
tell the truth. Yes, yes.
And my wife said, "Well, the people didn't come here to get beat up on," but I was preaching out of my own bitterness and own angriness.
Wow.
And until you get healed from that, it'll affect you big time.
Exactly. So self-awareness is definitely powerful and definitely key. As you was talking, I was thinking about, I know a lot of times it was because of the old church, I'll say, or the ignorance that a lot of us had. We didn't know any better. People didn't feel free enough to talk about those places because we put leaders on a pedestal, or not even leaders, just Christians. You couldn't walk around saying, I'm hurt, I'm angry, I got unforgiveness, I'm struggling with different areas, or I'm dealing with mental illness, because it was like taboo. Or you had those who were self-righteous or judgmental, and they go around saying, well, Christians don't get sick, and they don't get depressed, and they don't get mental illness. I don't know where they got that from, Apostle, but it's ignorance. We didn't know better, so I don't want to try not to be negative on them, but we're more educated today. But it's like, that's why a lot of us are preaching, like you said, from that hurt place. We don't have a safe space where we can vent and share those things without being condemned or judged, and all of that.
Yeah. And so the thing about it is, every leader got to have somebody that they can go to, that they can trust to share, and open up with, so they can get this out of them, because it doesn't get any better, and you can hear, and I've been teaching over that for about the last, several 4 or 5 months, about the heart and unforgiveness. And so you got a lot of people that's preaching, singing, dancing, doing all these things, but got unforgiveness in their heart, and it shows. It comes out, because at some point it's going to come out.
That's right.
So you got to have somebody that you feel comfortable with, that you can come and share, and let them give you some kind of coaching, counseling, or something to get you through that, so you can get you back on the right track.
Exactly.
So you can go ahead and blossom to your fullness.
There you go. And at first it was new to me when I had joined a large church in New York, which was an awesome body. It's the first time I learned about how some churches give psychological type of evaluations to leaders. But it's like, now I understand, because you never know what people are going through. And I guess that was their way of measuring the mental well-being and emotional well-being of a leader before they, allow them to kind of come on and, minister to the people. And it's like, now I get it. First it was new, because, I came from a small church. Thank God for humble, awesome beginnings. But we didn't go through that protocol. But now I understand why some churches implement those type of tools, like spiritual evaluation or mental, or because they need to understand what's going on in the inside and up here. Because then when they get in the pulpit or somewhere else, and you hearing bad reports, you're like, what's going on here?
Yeah. I guess the thing with that is that when God start begin to elevate you to any type of leadership form, the one thing you're going to have to realize is that, and I had to learn, is that you're going to have to learn how to deal with a multiplicity of mentalities. All different, one from another. And so you're going to have to take some type of psychology, so it can help you deal with, the signs and symptoms of these things when they come up.
I want to talk about the benefits of pastoral counseling or therapy within the body of Christ. How, because you do this work as well, inside and outside of the church, how beneficial has it been to the body as a
You
whole
know,
and locally from your experience?
it's I think it's a great benefit to the degree that when people start sharing and opening up, what a sigh of relief that I can see on people's faces when they're finally been able to get this out or
Yes.
get this off of them. Uh,
Right.
Sometimes it's things they've been carrying from years, or they didn't feel comfortable talking with somebody, and they're taking all this luggage, all of this
Yeah.
weight
Right.
around with them, which really weighs them down. I mean, that's just like
Oh yeah.
when a firefighter put on their gear. They got about 50 pounds or something
That's
on
right.
them that they carrying around.
Right.
And sometimes saints are like that. And I think the dangerous part about it is that sometimes they can get so comfortable with that, is that
Mm.
they can come to a good worship service, hear a good word, and enjoy themselves. But when they leave, they're taking that luggage with them.
Wow. You just touched on
They
something.
they
That's
they
the truth. Carrying
they're
around
gonna
that
take that
blanket.
with them there because they're
Right.
comfortable with it.
Exactly. Become a comfort thing. They
Yeah,
familiar with
so
it.
we trying to get them to leave that at the altar, leave that there. That's
Yes.
no good for you. That's been wearing you
Exactly.
down all this time. Free yourself and go on and leave this here and don't worry about it no more.
Right. And that needs to be taught. And I get now while the older saints, growing up in church, used to say, leave it at the door, leave all your burdens at the door. Of course, that's a process because it's not easy, it's easier said than done, but just getting it in
Right.
people's mind about Jesus, because he's our example. The Bible says he's counselor. He's counselor. And so
Right.
I love to help people to get to see the counselor side of Jesus, or the counseling attribute that God has, not just
Mm-hmm.
God who sits up like he's in or unavailable and inaccessible. And it's like, no, he has there's a counselor in him, but he gives us gifts and skills and everything so we can help serve the body and the community as well. So it's a human service place. Come and bring your cares, cast your cares upon me because I care for. That's what Jesus said. When we learn to do that, I just told somebody that the other day, that you have to see God as someone who loves you. You have to see Jesus as that counselor. He's that high priest who was touched by the feeling of our infirmities. So he
Mm-hmm.
know what we struggle with because he dwelt among us. I ain't trying to get on my little preacher.
Yeah.
But
Listen,
yeah.
but and with that being said, and it's been pressed on me, so I'm actually, it's probably this year that I'm gonna go start probably setting up some evening time hours,
Awesome.
maybe about 3 days a week that I'll
Okay.
be there, that people can set up some time where they can just come and we can talk and do that. So that's been kind of pressed on me. So I think in this year, within the next month, or within the next couple of months or so,
Right.
I'll be setting that up, maybe 3 times a week. I'll
Right.
be there. I'll be there for this amount of hours, maybe about 3 hours from a certain window of time in the evening. I'll be
Okay.
there if you want to set some up, come by, we can talk and,
Right.
begin to help because it's so vitally needed right now, more
Exactly.
so than ever before. And,
Exactly.
and within the body of Christ, as you're seeing this, it's being, it's phenomenal because people are not being able to deal with the challenges or the circumstances or things that are
Right.
coming up. And so we can provide a better way of channeling what you're doing, because there's no way we can really stop stress, but we can channel it
Right.
so it don't have as great an effect on our
Exactly.
lives, or we can't uh, prevent the unexpected, but there's a way to channel those things when they
Exactly.
do come, so the impact that it normally would have,
Right.
we lessen it by channeling it through a different way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They're definitely going to be dealing with the mindset and the emotions and all of that stuff. So I did already ask about the effectiveness of Congress, but I want to know more about the work you do, because you you do counseling with inside the church and outside of the church. What type of counseling you do outside of the local church?
Well, I'm a Norfolk police and fire and rescue chaplain.
Okay.
So yeah, so when we in the police department, when they have some different cases that come, like it was one case we had last year that it was a car crash, and
Wow.
all the 4 people that was in it was burned beyond recognition. So all of those, each one of them had to come to the precinct.
Wow.
So they can let them know that your loved one is passed, and the only way we can identify them totally is they had to take a DNA from the parents. We
Wow.
was there to help provide counseling for them,
right.
in whatever state that they may need it at that time. And we also, if there's an officer that feel comfortable with us, we provide counseling for the officers because, of the trauma and everything that can mess with your psyche, especially when you got to shoot somebody or you've seen some tragic things happen. So that level of counseling helps deal with that, So that is a major part, and just dealing with young people as well, helping to deal with them and the parents. I love it. That's my habitation.
God bless you.
That's my habitation. I thrive in that.
Right.
And so I can do that all day. But you got to have, the Lord has definitely have the grace for you to be able to do it.
You got that right.
I like to tell people in a minute, I don't have the patience for that. You need to talk to him. I don't have patience for all that.
Exactly. Let me tell you, I shied away from, because that's like first responder stuff, triage and I mean, I've dealt with mental stuff like in crisis. I'm always on 24-hour crisis when it comes to the mental, emotional relationship or parents. I do parent coaching too, where sometimes parents are going back, they add it back and forth. They don't know how to they don't know how to self-regulate emotionally. And so the children are seeing, I've done that, but stuff you see physically, I already know. I think I'm graced to do it, but I'm emotional.
Yeah.
I think I could, because there's certain situations that I realized God, I was just there. And for that moment, there was no second guess. I had to be used. You understand? So I'll perform, but I wouldn't run to that. Let's put it that way. I wouldn't volunteer.
Absolutely.
Sign me up for first responder.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You definitely got to be graced with it to be able to deal with that stuff. Really.
Yes.
Yeah,
but it's awesome now because you and I have the training, but also the other thing I want to talk about is so great now that a lot of leadership now within the body of Christ are trained as psychologists. We have on ministerial staff, psychologists, therapists, psychiatrists, social workers. And it's so great to have that dual title, when you ministry, but also you're better equipped to deal with people when it comes to like the mental, not even just mental, relationship issue. I got people that specialize in relationship counseling and family dynamics and group dynamics. Like that stuff is so important. I think that every leader, not necessarily have to go as deep as training like that, but I mean, should learn basic things like group dynamics, because you're always dealing with groups a lot of times. And some form of counseling where you learn, I guess, the communication skill, because that's the thing that, we learn a lot. Being a good communicator with the listening and the processing and the going beyond and like developing that skill, because as a preacher or leader or whoever, any of the ministries in church, that's something that's important. Even if you were usher, learning how to deal with people, being sensitive.
Yeah, you got to. Absolutely. Yes. You better learn how to deal with them.
Right.
You're going to run folk out if you don't know how to talk to them.
Exactly. And then the self-regulation, emotional regulation, like knowing where you are. Because that's the one thing I tell people, because I'm in a certain position or I have a title or whatever, it doesn't mean I'm, like you said, exempt from things. I've just learned how to manage my emotions where I can compartmentalize things and not bring them to you. And then, of course, my faith, I can give a lot of things to God, because I can't go into people or deal with people or counsel people or coach with me wearing my heart on my sleeve. If you know some things about yourself, that's something we can give to God. God, help me in this, because I know I'm gifted at helping people, but I know I need to deal with this area, because what happened is, and I talk to a lot of leaders who are gifted, apostle, they're anointed, but sometimes when they counsel or try to teach, they're very harsh. You know, like again, you start seeing things and they're not aware. And sometimes I bring it to their attention. It's your approach. You got to deal what's allowing you to maybe approach people a certain way, because you can see that they definitely gifted. They can do a whole lot, but they got to deal with all of that. They got to find out what the root of that is.
Yeah, but you know, the Lord has, I guess, has graced me that when I'm out and about, you know, allow people to run into me, and just in conversation, I get to talking.
Yes.
And before you know, people don't open up and they be like, I don't know why I'm telling you this. I'm like, well, you know, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like they feel comfortable talking, and I find myself, you know, I'm sharing. I'm listening to them, and then I'm sharing something.
Right.
And it's helping them just even for those few moments.
Yes.
It's feel like that was a sigh of relief right there. You know, it was like a thirsty soul getting a cold glass of water.
Exactly.
It really just cooled them out. It refreshed them.
Right.
And it was in such a calm way that it brought some type of healing balm to them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned something. You know, today again, what I see more of is we learning as leaders to become more transparent and have authenticity with people, so they can kind of relate. They understand that again, we broken, we go through stuff, and people need to know that. They need to feel that, and they feel comfortable talking to you, because you're not, you know, saying that, you know, you don't have any problems and you got everything under control all of the time. You know, you let them know that you've been through some things, and that's why testimonials is so and awesome.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt, man. Folks say, if you think it's a fairy tale book, then you haven't read the whole book.
Exactly. I remember hearing T.D. Jakes say, y'all need to turn them soap operas off and get in this book. There's some stuff in this book. I said, I know right.
Oh yeah, there's some stuff in the book, man. Everything everything you can imagine is in the book.
Exactly. You know, but I just thank God for the comfort, you know, that the body is bringing more people in other ways that we can serve. And so that's why I thought it'd be so important to talk about counseling. And I would admonish anybody who's listening and watching that, you know, and if you're a leader, if you're a part of the ministry of a church, and that's an area that you can think about expanding if you don't already have that, even with stuff like marriage ministry, a place that couples can come to and talk about things with other couples, because all of these different ministries that's under the human services or counseling, they fortify our relationships, our ministry. You know, people can feel like, I can go to church and if I have this issue, I can deal with this, because a lot of times, and I know I'm going to hit a touchy area, is a lot of times professionals outside of the church that are not maybe believers, a lot of times their agenda is just to push medication on you. You know, they don't deal with the spiritual part of us. You know what I'm saying? They're not equipped. We talk about it. I remember in grad school, we talked about how it's important, but at the same time, when it comes to applying and practicing it, sometimes that it becomes a barrier where you can't even go. Some things you feel like you're not even allowed to do, but the church can play a role in dealing with that spiritual man, because you need that. So I would tell anybody, because sometimes we have spiritual sickness, spiritual issues is what I meant to say.
Yeah. You know, and that is a touchy area, and I'm gonna leave that wound open for a few more minutes before we shed it.
Yes.
You're right. They push medication and the dollar sign. You know,
right.
That's what it's about. So my thing is that here's a person he can't deal with your spirituality, so he's gonna give you medicine, which in turn is not going to fix it.
No.
It's just going to numb it in a sense for a little while until you need another batch.
Exactly.
You know, and when you finish that batch, then you need another batch.
Right.
And then you need another visit.
Right.
And you need to pay some more money.
Exactly.
So, I mean, and I understand, you know, they went to school, got degrees in you to pay them, because you can get all the medicine you want to. If you don't get some spiritual healing, you'll never get free from your medicine.
Exactly.
Not saying that some people don't need it, but
right.
the more healed you become spiritually, the more you can get off that medicine.
You want to also use other interventions that can help you deal with stuff. And I'm talking about diagnosis that's not so extreme. I understand people who got maybe schizophrenia or something that's more extreme. They may need to be on meds for a longer time, but also there's a lot of other interventions that people can use. But I have clients who just have issues with anxiety and coping with stuff that a lot of us cope with all day, and we get through it. But some people, because of their mindset or what they've been through or what their body, their nervous system is already patterned, to worry about a lot of things, simple stuff like that. You don't need to be on medicine the rest of your life. And I it's so interesting. I'm thinking of a client in mind when I do the breathing exercises with him, because he gets stirred up about things pretty quickly. And I kind of say, when I talk with him and he calms down, and I taught him about how to become emotionally regulated, how to get your mind on something else to distract the thought that's causing the anxiety. After about 5 minutes, he's like, I feel good now. I said, see, God has given us, we forgot our own natural ability to learn how to cope and deal with stuff. It's like we get so conditioned and used to, I got to get my med. We don't even, first of all, like you said, we don't even allow God to come in and help calm us down. We don't allow ourselves to pray, meditate on the word, read some scriptures, and just sit calmly and think about, or do the breathing exercises. If we can take 5 minutes to do that, and as I always educate people, the same effect that deep breathing has on your brain is the same effect you may get with maybe smoking some kind of drug or something for that quick moment. When the oxygen goes through your brain and it goes through your nervous system, it gives you a natural calming effect. But we so accustomed to meds, that's the thing I'm talking about, till we forgot how to do that. Like you said, it never takes the problem away. And I'm always like, empower my clients. What if you can't get to the med? Either you're going to go crazy or you're going to learn how to heal thy physician, heal thyself.
Right.
Yeah, that. It's like we forgot about that because we live in an addictive society. Now, I understand that people got trauma and some deep, deep issues, but I just see it's just a pattern now, and it's scary. And so I have to pray. Apostle, I pray for myself. I do my own deep breathing. I do my own work before I meet with clients, because I don't know what space they're in. And that's another thing, dealing with the counseling, us taking care of ourselves, the self-care.
Right. Absolutely. We got to make sure that we're in a good place so we can be effective to those who are going to be brought into our lives, or we're going to run into, so we can effectively be able to spiritually prescribe the right prescription to them.
Exactly.
So they don't get no allergic reactions. So we want to make sure we prescribe properly.
Right. So I'm going to ask you this, Dr. Wilson. What do you do for self-care as a leader? Because that's so important. You're serving in a lot of capacities. What do you do for self-care?
Well, of course, of course I pray, and and I like to read. I read a lot, and then I can bounce things off of some other people,
There you go.
That I know, people that's way old and way seasoned into the area that I can talk to. So, I can always bounce some things off them, or exercise, or
that's
something
good.
like that. Go sit by the water or something. So, you always got to have something that you can de-stress, or keep yourself at a good place, so you can be, I like to say, lubricated, so you can flow like you need to.
So you by the water and the beach. I'm jealous. I think I would be at the ocean all the time. I love the water and the ocean and everything. But that's good, because that's important. That's another thing, like going back to leaders and just learning that self-care piece, taking care of ourselves. Sometimes we neglect that. And I know we have to, that's a whole nother subject, learning how to delegate and take care of yourself and having that time. And it's awesome that you have your wife as co-pastor to kind of help you with that as well. Big, big, big help.
Indeed. Yes. It's a great blessing. And as I'm in this year to come back. So
Yes.
making this great comeback.
Coming back.
Yeah, I am enthusiastic about that. I did a eulogy today, and I was sharing with some people in the repast about the comeback, and they just absorbed it so much that they said we're gonna be in church tomorrow. We want to hear this. We want to hear this.
Awesome.
And so that is the piece, because sometimes if we go through something, we down too long, it's a struggle to make that bounce back or that comeback. And so sometimes we talk to people that are in the same way. And the thing is that in spite of what happened, you can always make a comeback.
Right. Exactly. That's right.
You can bounce back from that.
Right.
The Dow Jones, they might have a bad day at the closing, but tomorrow they're looking to bounce back.
Exactly. That's right.
So, so whether it's business, whether it's financial, whether it's ministry, your thing is that even though I've had some badness happen in my life, I can bounce back from it.
Exactly. And with the support, got that support, the body of Christ.
I can bounce back from with zeal and determination.
Right.
And good guidance.
Yeah.
I can make a good comeback.
Absolutely. So. Encouragement, inspiration, motivation. You bring back that sense of hope, that sense of peace. And those are the things we're talking about spiritually, because you have to have hope and peace within yourself, and you have to have self-love before you can be good or effective with anybody else. And so that's one of the benefits of, counseling in the kingdom. And I just pray that and I know it's continued to expand. A lot of people feel okay now. There's it's not too much stigma now on counseling, because a lot of times when people hear the word counseling, they only think of mental illness or sickness or disorder,
right?
Not relationship problems or parental problems, or a person can deal with an existential crisis where they just feel stuck. They don't know what they're supposed to be doing. They don't know their purpose. And that's something that we can kind of help them with, with inside the body of Christ. So it's so many different areas as a person that, aspects of our lives that the church can really help with, now that we have allowed, all these other disciplines, within the body. So I'm so happy about that, because I know a lot of people, I'm happy getting help now from people in the church, like with their marriage. I know people who are on the brink of divorce, and I know you counsel a lot of couples, and because now they have this ministry, counseling ministry within the church, they're able to get help, and it has actually saved their marriage. Like, they're working on things because the person has given them tools that they can use, to help their marriage. So.
Yeah, you know what? Just before we wrap up, it's two things that I always say that is vital to any great comeback.
Oh, you got frozen. But go ahead.
It's the 2 Ds.
There you go. 2 Ds. Okay.
Discipline.
Yes.
And determination.
All right. Yes.
Discipline and determination. You got those two in place.
Right.
You can make a comeback.
That's true.
You can make a comeback. I got to discipline myself.
Yes.
And then I got to be determined.
That's a whole nother preachment. Discipline and determined. Yeah. Because my mind is already thinking about different areas that need discipline in our lives. And of course, when you get that sense of hope and everything, then you feel like, okay, I can be determined now, and have some discipline in my life, because the support is there. You helping them, the support is there. There's a way out. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. But anyway, Absolutely. This was really, really good. We're gotta have some series of other talks.
Yeah, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. Yeah, because I'm thinking about, I gotta let you go so you can go prepare for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I will get to you soon. I thank you so much, Dr. Wilson, for
just for your time. I'm grateful.
Yes.
I'm really grateful.
I'm so glad. So Dr. Wilson is like my overseer. He's my brother and father in the ministry and everything else.
Yes, sir.
So I thank God for the spiritual connection. God don't leave you abandoned. God always put people in your life. And that's the thing. When you open yourself up to God, he connects you with, he knows what you need spiritually and emotionally and naturally. And I can honestly say Dr. Wilson, God has always done that for me. Like he never left me abandoned. And I can go on. I'm not even going to go on about that now because I'll get emotional. And then we be up in tongues and then this be a whole nother broadcast.
I am grateful for the opportunity to be able to, be that spiritual covering, father in the gospel, whatever.
Right.
I'm that opportunity to be able to do this, and I don't take it lightly. And as I share with people, I say, y'all, the Lord give me spiritual daughters in the faith or whatever in Richmond and Georgia. I was named different places, so it may not even always be locally, but He will connect you.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, I'm eternally grateful for it. I don't take it lightly, and I'm just going to do my level best to be as best as I can.
Yes. Thank God for your time. Thank God for your everything, everything you're doing in the kingdom. I thank God for being a partner with you and you being in my life and everything. And God is so good. So I'm excited about that. And I thank everybody for tuning in, for watching. If you want to connect with Dr. Wilson, he's in Norfolk, Virginia. He's at Kingdom Harvest International. It was intentional when you mentioned helping people all over. I'm like, yeah, there was a reason why it's called international.
And it's going to begin to manifest this year the more.
That's right.
Yeah.
Amen. The more.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So I'm going to be spreading my wings going. I'm going to be coming up to Richmond. I'm going to Georgia. I'm going to be going to some different places.
Awesome.
Because that is, He's given me all these spiritual sons and daughters for reasons.
Right. Exactly.
And I want to be able to fulfill that and impart their lives and undergird them and support. Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, and if you want to connect with me, you can go to bit.ly/Healing for Your Soul Ministries. Dr. Wilson, the website of your church is?
Kingdom Harvest International Ministries.
That's right. Kingdom Harvest International Ministries. I left out that part. That's right. Yes.
We're working on doing a different website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you guys know that do follow me. I'm a certified life purpose coach and I'm a pastoral counselor. So at Healing for Your Soul Ministries, I provide pastoral counseling just for donations only. It's free. I just receive donations to kind of help me stay on the internet and do the virtual sessions. But I'm also a certified life purpose coach as well. And I'm Christian based. And so everything talking about discipline, but spiritual disciplines is part of the interventions that I use. And I thank God. And if you are in the Norfolk area, know that Dr. Wilson does pastoral counseling too as well. And so we're just happy about serving in the kingdom. But anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Leave your comments on YouTube or Apple Podcasts or SoundCloud, wherever you tune in from. This will be audio and video. And if you have any questions related to the things that we talked about today, surely you can definitely leave those commentaries on all of those platforms, because this can be a continued conversation. I can do Q&A or something, who knows? But I just thank God for you tuning in, and everybody be blessed. Thank you. Meet you again on the next broadcast.